I first met Leonila when I was working in philanthropy, and I was later reintroduced to her by Chris Langston of the Hartford Foundation in the spring of 2009 when I was looking for a job. Chris had told me that Leonila may need some assistance with some projects and introduced the two of us. After a brief phone call, Leonila invited me to meet her on a Saturday afternoon. This struck me as a bit strange for a work meeting, but this was just another work day for Leonila. We met right near the office. Shortly after that, we started working together. My first impressions of Leonila were that she was charismatic, she worked a lot, and she was a passionate advocate. I was drawn to her determination to give direct care workers a voice, and she inspired a similar passion in me. Leonila was a tremendous advocate, fiery, fearless, and deeply empathetic for people who are vulnerable, who haven't yet found their voices. Leonila saw herself in direct care workers. She saw people doing great things with great potential, but weren't being appreciated. She had a strong desire to share her path to empowerment with others.
She's got everything she needs. She's an artist. She don't look bad. She got everything she needs. She's an artist. She don't look bad.
Leonila was born in a small town in rural Mexico, and her father built the house where she grew up. Her mother was always an inspiration to her, a kind of beacon of strength. Her mother was also a source of a lot of goodwill in the community. She was very compassionate, and she would help people in need. And I think it's clear Leonila inherited a lot of those traits. She learned the power of organizing at a pretty young age when her parents organized their neighbors to petition the government to bring running water and electricity to their neighborhood. But when it came time for college, her father felt that it wasn't necessary, but Leonila was determined. She knew she had to go to college to make a better life for herself. So she immigrated to the United States. She spoke no English at the time, so she taught herself to speak and read English by reading magazines and working in restaurants. Leonila graduated with honors from the University of California, Irvine, and she set her sights on law school. She earned a scholarship to attend the University of Wisconsin-Madison Law School, and so she relocated to Milwaukee. She was inspired to work on behalf of seniors, and so she took a job with Legal Action of Wisconsin and then Disability Rights Wisconsin, helping people obtain Social Security disability benefits. She said, "I remember feeling then like anything was possible, that I could do anything I wanted now that I was in the United States."
Met Leonila over 25 years ago, back in Southern California, when she was a waitress at Denny's. I thought, well, I don't want to push too hard. She might not like me. I just ate, and I didn't pursue asking her out anymore. I didn't want to be a pest, but I always sat in her station. And then and this was in April of 1987, she left a message on my answering machine at home, because I had given her my number just in case she got her phone fixed. And she said, "Brad, I have Saturday off and wanted to know if you wanted to go to Disneyland." I couldn't believe it. April 18th of 1987, that was our first date, and that was when we celebrated our anniversary, and we've been together 25 years.
Leonila loved her work as an elder rights attorney, and then with the union in Milwaukee. She loved advocating for people whose voices weren't being heard. But a friend showed her the job announcement for executive director of the Direct Care Alliance, and she felt called to it.
There was great anticipation that day, because our team of interviewers were well prepared, and we had a great short list of individuals who we thought were excellent candidates. All of the interviews went well until we came to Leonila, whose interview, in my opinion, not just good. It was great.
I first met Leonila, to the best of my memory, in 2008 at the very first National VI in Racine, Wisconsin. My first impression of her when I met her was, wow, this little woman has a lot of fire in her. One of my best memories of the VI in 2008 is when everybody was arriving, not sure what to expect. And 5 days later, we all left with that fire that we saw in Leonila.
One of the first programs Leonila created was the Voices Institute, a national leadership training program for direct care workers. Participants learn advocacy skills, how to develop and sustain a state worker association, but also self-empowerment and how to grow as leaders.
One time she sat me down and she told me, I always wondered who that white lady was that would come to these meetings and not speak up and not say a word. Well, she created a powerful leader and advocate and someone who's not afraid to speak up. So for that, I want to thank Leonila. She changed my life.
Following Leonila's announcement that she was going to resign from the DCA, the board and staff wanted to acknowledge her tremendous dedication in a lasting way. We decided that the most meaningful tribute would be to rename the Voices Institute the Leonila Vega Voices Institute.
Never tried the secret door, but when you give.
Following the Evelyn Koch decision, DCA decided to take up the fight for federal labor protections for home care workers. Over the next few years, Leonila dedicated herself to this cause. And although she was on medical leave, one of her proudest moments was seeing Tracy Dudzinski, a Voices Institute graduate, home care worker, and DCA's board chair, stand behind President Obama as he announced the proposed rule change.
Now, 4 years ago, a home care worker named Evelyn Koch took her case all the way up to the Supreme Court. And Evelyn was working up to 70 hours a week with no overtime pay. But the court ruled against her, saying that to change the law would require action from Congress or the Department of Labor. Today, I will. Today, we're guaranteeing home care workers minimum wage and overtime pay protection. And that's thanks to the hard work of my Secretary of Labor, Hilda Solis. We are going to make sure that over 1 million men and women in one of the fastest growing professions in the country don't slip through the cracks. We're going to make sure that companies who do right by their workers aren't undercut by companies who don't. We're going to do what's fair, and we're going to do what's right.
It's no fear of the deep.
Well, I'm here to report, as many of you already know personally, that we have exceeded all of those goals. We successfully launched the Voices Institute. We trained 29 direct care worker leaders from 12 states. Many of them have gone back to their states and been active in their associations. And I think that now that we are at the stage where we actually accomplish all our goals and really are here in DC introducing ourselves to our national representatives, what we're actually doing is putting together the building blocks for the next stage of the DCA to really take off as an advocacy organization. When people think, my goal is, with your support, is that when people think about direct care, that they think, okay, we have to talk to the DCA, see what they think, and that we are having a role in shaping and designing what the direct care job looks like. And I think it's a fantastic opportunity because we have a new president, we have a new Congress, there's a lot of change going on. We all know that the whole country knows that it needs to change in order to continue to be successful, and that nothing like for an organization with a mission like ours. So we have a constituency that has been neglected and in obscurity and invisible for so many years. This is a perfect opportunity when everybody's thinking about how we're going to rebuild the country, how we're going to rebuild our programs, to go in there and tell our story and really say, this is how you think you should. And one critical piece of sustainable economy, a good social services network in the country is to support the direct care workforce. And the direct care workers have an advocate, and that's called the Direct Care Alliance.